Form 2, End of Term, End of Year, Revision Worksheet, Section 5, Geometry. Classify, number 13, classify triangles. So an acute triangle means that all the angles in the triangle would be acute angles, meaning that all those angles would be under 90 degrees. An isosceles triangle would be two of the lines would be the same length and the base angles would be the same angle, would have the same measurement. Right angle triangle means that one of the angles in the triangle would be a 90-degree angle, a right angle. And an obtuse angle triangle would mean that one of the angles in the triangle would be an obtuse angle, meaning between 90 and 180 degrees. B. Angles in a triangle. We know that the angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So therefore, the question mark here, this missing angle, would be 180 minus 38 plus 52. So that gives us 180 minus 90 degrees, which gives us 90 degrees. So the missing angle is 90 degrees. Find the value of the angle labeled 1. So we know that if we add these two, we will get that angle. So we will get 72 plus 58 gives us 130. So we know that this will be 130 degrees. Or we could have worked out the missing angle here, which would have been 180 minus 130, which would have given us 50 degrees. And we know that a straight line adds 180, which also gives us the 130. Whichever way you want to work it, it's not a problem. Once you get that the answer is 130 degrees. We want to now, number 14, we want to find the missing angles in diagrams, and we have to remember to give reasons. So if the whole thing here is 58 and this little piece is 32, then it means that the missing angle will be 58 minus 32, which gives us 26 degrees, and the reason would be that they are adjacent angles. For this next one, we know that angles at a point add to 360 degrees. So we know then that C will be equal to 360 minus 110 plus 75 plus 63 plus 50. So that gives us 360 minus 110 plus 75 plus 63 plus 50. 293 degrees. So that gives us 67 degrees. And the reason would be that angles at a point add to 360 degrees. Next one. We want to find the missing angle. So we know that X would be 105 degrees, and we know that Y would be 75 degrees, and the reason will be because X is vertically opposite to the 105 degrees, and Y is vertically opposite to 75 degrees. Next one, this is a straight line, so we know that the missing angle here would be 180 minus 140, which will be 40 degrees. So therefore, and the reason will be that angles on a straight line add to 180 degrees. Okay, in this question, we know that Y would be 58 degrees, and that is because Y is the alternate angle to the 58 degrees, right? And now we want to work out x and z. So we can work out x. X will be 180 minus 58, and that will give us 122 degrees, and that's the reason will be angles in a straight line. And we know that z would be the same thing as x, which will be 122 degrees, and that again will be alternate angles because z is alternate to x. Alright, let's look at the next one. And at this one we can see that a is equal to 45 degrees, and we know that f is equal to 135 degrees because a is the corresponding angle to the 45 degrees, and f is the corresponding angle to the 135 degrees. B and C, if A and B are supplementary, right, they want you to find B, and then if A and B are complementary, they want you to find B. So supplementary means that it adds to 180 degrees. Complementary means that it adds to 90 degrees. So if A and B are going to add up to be 180 degrees and A is 55, that means that B would have to be 180 minus 55. So that means that B would be 125 degrees. But if they were complementary, it means that they would add to 90. So that would mean that B would then have to be 90 take away the 55, which will give us 35 degrees. Quadrilaterals. Now we know that in a quadrilateral everything adds to 360 degrees. So therefore x would be 360 minus 100 plus 60 plus 95. So that will give us 100 plus 60 plus 95, 360 minus 255 degrees. That will give us 105 degrees. Now in this one we have exterior angles, so we can work out what the interior angles are. This is a straight line, so we know this will be 180 minus 110, that be 70 degrees. We know this will be 180 minus 100, that be 80 degrees. And we can add it all up, so we'll get that 2x plus x plus 80 plus 70 must be equal to 360 degrees. So you get 3x plus 150 is equal to 360. Minus 150 from both sides, and we'll get that 3x is equal to 210. Divide both sides by 3, we'll get that x is equal to 70 degrees. Okay, we need to determine whether the shapes are similar, congruent, or neither. So we need to remember that congruent shapes have the same length and same angles, and that similar shapes would have same angles but different lengths. So let's check this first one. We have a 60 degree and a 60 degree. We have a 50 degree and a 50 degree, which means that this would also be the same. So we have the same angles. And when we check the lengths, we have 3 lengths that are the same. So therefore this one would be congruent. This one, clearly the angles are not the same. They have a different shape, and the lengths are definitely different. So it is neither congruent, neither is it similar. This one, let's check the angles. This angle is the same as this. This angle is the same as this. This angle is the same as this. But when we check the lengths are all different. So therefore this is a similar shape because it has same angles but different lengths. Same shape but different size. So if we have a similar shape, which means all the angles are the same, we want to find the missing length. So 6 to go to 18, we'll take 6 by 3 to get to 18. 8 by 3 to get to 24. So what by 3 will get us to 21, and that would be 7 meters. So the missing length would be 7 meters. And this brings us to the end of section 5, geometry.